in my domain. Got the whole crowd screaming out our name. It's a blowout, it's a hurricane, it's over before you know it. While you shaking, we're a dynasty in the making. We're the royalty, now we're breaking down the enemy. Move over for the soldiers. Take a swing, I can take a hit. If we die, it's fine, we live for this. It's all for this. We're gonna stand on top with our hands in the sky. Gonna raise our cup to the stadium lights. For the glory, for the glory. We celebrate with the city tonight. Hear the hometown cheer, it's the ultimate high. For the glory, we do it for the glory.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here as we get set for race number 22, or more importantly, chase race number 2, or more importantly, elimination race number 1 of Season 2 of the NNSCRA TaxSlayer Truck Series. We're ready to go dirt track racing here tonight under the lights at Oswego Raceway here in Oswego, New York. Now, 8 drivers made their way into the playoffs after the checkered flag waved at M&M Super Speedway. When the checkered flag waves here tonight, only 6 will be moving on to the next round of the playoffs. And it's going to be quite a big battle between probably about 5 different drivers here tonight for the final spots into the round of 6 for the upcoming 2 races. Now, there are a few drivers coming to this race in pretty good situation. Nobody ended up, besides Nick Johnson coming into this race, locked into the round of 6. Nick Johnson, of course, winning our last time out's race at Chicagoland, so that's an automatic ticket into the next round. But a couple of drivers, H Gallant, Nathan Stapleton, they come into this race in a pretty good situation. The gap that they're trying to put between themselves and a certain spot in the points is back to 6th place. And right now, Nathan Stapleton has a 33-point gap between himself and 6th place. Nathan Stapleton, or I'm sorry, did I say Stapleton? I meant H Gallant, rather, has a 33-point gap between herself and 6th place. And Nathan Stapleton has a 31-point gap between himself and 6th place. The 5 drivers are going to basically be keeping an eye on during the course of this evening are drivers that come into this race 4th through 8th in the standings. They're going to be the ones, I think, that'll really decide who's going to move moving on and who isn't, provided one of those 5 drivers doesn't take the checkered flag here tonight, because that's an automatic ticket into the round of 6. Those 5 drivers would include the following: Tony Green, 2-time winner. He comes to this race 11 points ahead of the cut line. E Barber, another 2-time winner, is 5th in points. He is 9 points ahead of the cut line. And right now, the cut line driver would be H Garcia in the 51. He right now is the 6th position in points, and the drivers that are trying to bypass him to get into the top 6 in points, O Pollard, 7th in the standings, is only 2 points behind the cut line, and Patrick Curtis is only 5 points behind the cut line. So it's going to be really close, especially between Garcia, Pollard, and Curtis for that 6th spot, but if Green and Barber have a bad evening, it could blow this wide open in the battle for a chance to move on to the next round. Z Winkle lines up on the pole position. He's been on a bit of a momentum streak as of late after taking the checkered flag back at the regular season finale at M&M's. He starts on the pole alongside of N Raill, who was a 2-time winner last season, trying to get his first win this season and complete the sweep for the Kyle Busch Motorsports team. Let's go down trackside, get those most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines!
And given it'll be 60 laps of racing here today, we basically gave you your point standings coming into this one as far as the battle is concerned and everything, so we're not really going to worry about that. Now, 1 year ago, Oswego made its debut on the TaxSlayer Truck Series schedule, and the eventual winner moved on to battle for the championship in the Final Four. That was Marcus Saachi, who was driving a Toyota at the time for Flickinger Racing Development. So how ironic is it we have a Flickinger Racing Development Chevrolet 1 year later starting on the pole for this race. It's like the only playoff driver got started in the top 10s, Tony Green, starting from 6th place, and Green right now is into the next round according to the live point stand, so we'll see what he does during the course of this race. But it's time to go racing here under the lights. Dirt's about to go flying, green flags in the air at Oswego. Let's roll! Already got a battle for the lead. potentially. LaPlante crossing lanes. He'll go to the inside of Winkle for the top position. They're 3 wide further back there. H Cervantes making a bold move, putting Andrew Miller in the middle. First lap going to be led by Zach Winkle on the high side. It'll be interesting to see here which line gets the better run, inside or outside. I think that just gave us a good idea through 1 and 2. The inside line gets the better exit. And I guess turn 4's got a nice little run on the top side because Winkle was able to hold off LaPlante at least for 1 lap to lead the first lap of the evening. Already 3 wide. This time it's closer to the front of the field. That's Tyler Deaver down the bottom and Tony Green following right in line. Tony Green trying to get up there, trying to preserve his spot into the next round of the playoffs. And we will, during the course of this race, drop back, try and find the rest of our playoff contenders, see where they're at. Most importantly, Garcia in the 51, Pollard in the 39, and Curtis in the 0. LaPlante way out in front right now. A lot of Toyotas up here at the front. You got ThorSport with LaPlante. You've got Gardner Racing with 30 of Deaver. You've got Cowbush Motorsports there with Tony Green and Nicholas Ray. You've got another ThorSport car there as well. A Olvera in the 89, now up in the 5th position. So LaPlante out in front. Austin LaPlante trying to become, I think it would be the 2nd driver to ever win a Truck Series, Hershey's Cup Series, and TaxSlayer Truck Series race. The only driver up to this point that's done that is Charles Jackson. LaPlante does have a Hershey's Cup Series win. His most recent back season finale, season 1 of the Hershey's Cup Series. And of course, last year was a 2-time winner in the Pizza Hut X Series when he made the playoffs. Trying to join Charles Jackson, the only driver to have won in all 3 series. He's dropped towards the back, see if we can find any other playoff contenders. You saw Green right there. There's one right there in a playoff contender. Don't know if I'm focused on him or not. Yes, apparently I am. That is the 0 of Patrick Curtis. He's got last week's winner, Nick Johnson, right behind him. And right behind Nick Johnson is H Garcia. Remember, the 0 and the 51, they're battling each other for that playoff spot. And not too far back from them, you actually see the 39 of O Pollard as H Garcia got moved into the middle. A very hairy situation there. Curtis is probably about 5-6 cars ahead of Garcia, and he's right now, I think, probably, if I were to look, if it is 5 positions, he's tied right now with Garcia for the 6th spot in points. Pollard, on the other hand, is running behind Garcia, so right now Garcia will be ahead of the 39, but not necessarily ahead of the 0. Right now, Curtis might be in possession of that final transfer spot into the playoffs. Let's take a look down the running order real quickly here and see. Curtis crossed the line in 18th last time by, Garcia in 22nd. So right now Garcia by 1 point holds the final transfer spot into the next round of the playoffs over Patrick Curtis. There is Nick Johnson, our winner last time out at Chicagoland. He comes into this race knowing he will move on to the next round as he tries to become a back-to-back champion in the TaxSlayer Truck Series. Thought about 3 wide there under Alexander Rowe. Ryan Brommer thinks better of it. Was moved back up to the front. Got a good battle up here. ThorSport teammates 1-2. LaPlante with the lead. Olvera in 2nd. Both of them still looking for their first win of the season. Then you drop back here. You find 58 of H Cervantes. He's actually been putting together some good runs the last couple of weeks. Had a great run at M&M Super Speedway. He was in the top 10 if I recall. He was 11th actually, just outside the top 10. Of course, last week finishing runner-up to Nick Johnson, so close to his first career win. Well, actually, it wasn't last week, but it was last time out. Drop back a little further here. You've got Jake Moss with a good run in the 24. He's in 4th place. Right behind him, Sky Commons in the 99. We've got a car coming back on the track with damage, and that's the 19 of Jake Smith. So something happened to him that apparently didn't bring out the caution. Rely on our NSCRA split cam to tell us what happened there. Apparently some front-end damage was sustained because Smith comes out without a hood. And now he's going to break up a lot of these drivers up here in this lead pack. Is Tony Green right now still the highest running of the playoff drivers, so where he's running, his position to move on to the next round of the playoffs would be safe. A couple of William Broughton Motorsports cars with really good runs going on right now. The 13 of Wyatt Walker is in 7th, and right behind him is the 23 of Andrew Miller. And take a look here. Patrick Curtis continuing to try and make a case for himself to get into the next round. He's fought his way up into the top 10 now. Another driver that's actually close to trying to do that as well is H Garcia. He's gotten back down to the bottom of the racetrack. There he is ahead of 41 of Nick Johnson. Garcia is probably at this time around the 17th position. He's trying to get up there to the 0. Now, we mentioned the 2 other drivers coming into this race in trouble, possibly in the battle for that final transfer spot. Tony Green was 1, but we see he's running up near the front. What about the 33 of Easton Barber? Got this battle here between teammates still brewing. And there is Easton Barber. We didn't have to look far. Both the Michael Norman Motorsports trucks are all the way back here at the tail end of the field. Melody Baker in the 3, Barber in the 33. And I believe this is 40th and 41st. No, it is not. This is actually 39th Easton Barber and 40th one lap down Melody Baker, as we have a car out of the race apparently, and that was the 18 of Marty Czekala. I can only assume that had something to do with the wreck that involved Jake Smith, and maybe Melody Baker was involved in it as well. So right now Easton Barber is running in 39th place. So let's find out the gap between Barber and Garcia right now coming into this race. It was 9 points. So right now, the way things are standing, it looks like Curtis might be in and Barber might be out. Looks like Johnson, Gallant, Stapleton, Green, Garcia, and Curtis would be the 6 that would be into the next round with how they're running right now. And Easton Barber didn't exactly have the best of runs last week either, or the last time out at Chicagoland, finishing that race in the 27th position. Up front, still Austin LaPlante showing the way. We're a third of the way through this race. There is Curtis, who right now, with the hard luck that's happened to Easton Barber, right now would be in the top 6. Ace Garcia right there. He is scored, I think, in, I want to say 12th right now. And now trying to look for more as he's trying to get by Alex Hawkins and Andrew Miller. Nick Johnson a ways back here, battling with Michael Whitman. And what about the 39 of O Pollard? I saw him making some strides towards the front. Now he's faded back. There he is, running behind the lap car of Jake Smith. Last time by, he was scored in 36th. So he's dropping back like a stone. And not too far ahead of him is the 92 of Nathan Stapleton, who you mentioned has a bit of a gap coming into this one. He's right now scored in 33rd. The good news for him is he's running ahead of Nathan Stapleton at the 43 of Heather Gallant. There she is. Last time by, she was scored in 25th. But like we said, both she and Stapleton came in with a bit of a gap between themselves and 6th in points. So they might still be okay, especially with the fact that O Pollard is running so far back, and apparently so too is Easton Barber. Well, you gotta wonder, when is Angel Olvera gonna try and make a move on her teammate Austin LaPlante? She's there, but she hasn't been able to quite get a nose to the left rear quarter panel. Either way, the odds of a new winner going to victory lane and being a Thor Sport driver are pretty doggone good so far this season. Thor Sport's only got one driver that's gone to victory lane. That was Nick Johnson, who's won 3 times. LaPlante and Olvera here still for their first win. Jonathan Zoerlein still trying to find victory lane this season, as is Ryan Acosta. Battle is on for 4th. Tony Green to the inside of Sky Commons. Might complete the pass here out of turn number 2, so that's another extra point for Tony Green, insurance point to make sure he'll make it into the round of 6. There's Curtis, right now in 9th. Garcia right now in 12th. Both drivers doing a good job to make sure they're going to move on to the round of 6. Right now, it looks like the 2 drivers that would be in the elimination positions, if my calculations are correct, at this point in time would be O Pollard and Easton Barber, if things don't change. Well, battle for the lead's not going to happen anytime soon. Got a battle now for second. Breaking up the Thor Sport teammates. Going to be Ricky Cervantes. That Nissan Titan looks very fast. We're now past the halfway point. Got a battle for fifth. Wyatt Walker to the inside of Sky Commons. Olvera goes way wide there through turns 1 and 2, so Cervantes will easily take the second position. And Cervantes, who finished bridesmaid last time out, does not want to finish bridesmaid again. He's on the hunt and will plan for the top spot, as we almost had a three-way battle for third between Olvera, Green, and Walker. That settled itself out pretty nicely. Now, what about traffic for the leaders to have to deal with? This track is about 6.25 miles in length, or 0.625 miles in length, I should say. It's not a 6-mile track. So it doesn't take them long, especially up here at the front, where they got clean racetrack, to catch up to the tail end of the field. Leaders are exiting out of turn number 2 right now. Tail end of the field is entering into turn number 3, that being the slower lap machine of Jake Smith. So something tells me that we may end up having the tail end of the field be reeled in by the leaders before this race comes to a close, unless we end up getting a caution. This race has not been without incident, but we have not had the yellow flag wave. H Czekala is out of this race. Jake Smith's a lap down. Melody Baker's a lap down. So we had something happen, but it didn't warrant a yellow. This battle for the lead continues. Cervantes all over the back bumper of LaPlante. You've got Olvera right there, and Wyatt Walker now joins the fray. Top 4, all looking for their first win of the season. And correct me if I'm wrong, I believe all 4 are looking for their first win of their TaxSlayer Truck Series careers. Just saw, I think that was the 19 of Jake Smith off the far end, far left of your camera when the leaders were exiting out of turn 4, so I think that these leaders will be catching up to the tail end of the field very, very quickly. Wyatt Walker's got a fast Chevy. He started outside of the top 10, and now he's up to the second position now. And there's still quite a ways to go in this one, so that 13 may be the fastest truck on the track right now. Let's see if that is the case. And our telemetry says that is indeed the case. He's the fastest, clocking in with a 20.445. Tristan Allen's second fastest lap, and then it was Cervantes, Patrick Smith, and Alex Hawkins. We're going to stick here with the leaders momentarily because they're catching that 19 of Jake Smith, and then we'll drop back and see what the playoff scenario looks like here as we're nearing 20 laps to go. Jake Smith with the 19, the closest teammate he could try and play defense for would be Sky Commons back in the 7th position. Nobody up in the front is a Cody Smart Motorsports teammate to that 19. How's LaPlante going to maneuver his way around Jake Smith, and will Wyatt Walker try and make him pay having to deal with the slower machine? Looks like they might be able to get to the inside of him going down here into turn 1. Walker gonna try and get the lead. He goes low, he's there, but can he now get by Jake Smith? And he does. Wow, that was perfect on the part of the 13 truck. First lead change takes place 40 laps into this rush. He's not the first lead change, but the first lead change in a long time takes place on lap 40. LaPlante now finally going to get to the inside of Jake Smith, but not before he loses first to Wyatt Walker and second to his teammate Angel Olvera. Green still there in the top 10. Patrick Curtis also still in the top 10 as he's looking for 8th place now on 24 of Jake Moss. And there is H Garcia right now, I think, in the 13th position. I mentioned that Tristan Allen was the second fastest truck on the racetrack. He's up now to, looks like, 12th position, so watch out for that 81 here in the closing stages. Nick Johnson not really making much strides to the front, but he doesn't really have to. He's already locked into the next round. H Gallant has worked her way now to 23rd. Still in a pretty safe spot, though. O Pollard picking up some spots since we last saw him. He's now up to 32nd. Trying to get into the top 6. Nathan Stapleton's faded back again. He's now 36th place. And Easton Barber Still all by his lonesome. He needs him to wreck up there if he's to pick up any spots. He's still mired back in 39th place. So right now, we know Johnson's locked in. Gallant looks like she's in good shape. Tony Green as well as Ace Garcia and Patrick Curtis. So what about that final spot? Well, it looks like the best battle that could happen right now. It looks like Barber is out with Curtis in. So what about Stapleton versus Pollard? Stapleton came into this race with a 33 gap between himself and the 39. So basically, Pollard has to finish 34 spots ahead of the 92. 92 last time by was scored in 36th. Pollard would basically have to finish in second or win, and he is not currently in that spot. He's in 31st. So right now, it looks like the two drivers that would be eliminated if the race were to end right now, because there's still a ways to go, anything can happen, would be Oriole Pollard and Easton Barber. Wyatt Walker has not really let anybody get to his back bumper since taking the lead from Austin LaPlante. LaPlante now faded back to 4th and now under fire from Alexander Rowe for that position, as closing in on 10 laps to go, but we also are closing in on tail end of the field traffic again. Like that was the 3 of Melody Baker just ahead that the leaders will have to deal with. Baker off the pace and off the lead lap. Cervantes trying to get by Angel Olvera for second. Wyatt Walker, who we saw had the fastest truck on track, certainly showing it off. And boy, I mean, you have to know how to maneuver lap traffic at a short track, whether it be dirt or whether it be concrete or asphalt. You have to know how to maneuver traffic, and the way Wyatt Walker set LaPlante up with the slower car of Jake Smith was textbook. It was perfectly done. LaPlante, who had taken the lead earlier from Z Winkle, looked like he was the driver to beat, and I don't think that he thought that slower traffic was going to be the bane of his existence here today. Looking back, I'm pretty certain that if Walker closes the deal here today, he will be the first driver out of William Brock Motorsports to win here in the TaxSlayer Truck Series. Neither he nor Andrew Miller nor Henry Williams, and I thought there was another teammate to that team, but I'm not off the top of my head remembering who it was. Looks like they have been winless this season, and so Walker may be able to quell that. He's going to have 7 laps to go when he hits the stripe next time by. Cervantes way up the track there in the entry of that corner. He'll lose some ground to Angel Olvera, so now with Cervantes no longer on her bumper, maybe Olvera will try and make up some ground here and try and make a last-ditch effort for his first win of the season. Cervantes, though, starting to reel the 89 back in. Got a battle that was brewing back here for the 5th position. LaPlante, Commons, and Green. Great run here tonight for Tony Green. Started up inside the top 10, never really faded out of it. Started, I think it was 6th. Holds the 7th spot. And how about Patrick Curtis? Talk about rising to an occasion, needing a good run to get into the next round. Curtis came into this one 5 points back out of the next round of 6, and with a top 10 run, looks like he will be moving on. So great run here tonight for that 0 truck. And H Garcia hasn't exactly had an exemplary run here tonight, but he's just been outside the top 10 most of this race, just doing what he needs to do. Came into that pressure spot, 6th in the standings. Just doing what he's got to do to make sure he moves on to the next round. Thought the leaders were going to catch Melody Baker. Baker hitting the line now. Leaders just exiting out of turn 4, so I don't think that traffic is going to be a factor for the race leaders. So it's basically just going to be whatever you got, you got. And it looks like Cervantes has got a bumper to the inside of Olvera. He's going to make the move for 2nd place. Now, does Cervantes have anything to say about the 13 winning this race? Easton Barber just trying to ride it out, but looks like he will not be moving on to the next round of the playoffs. And O Pollard, 3-time winner this season, had those 3 wins pretty early on in the year. Was one of the first confirmed drivers into the playoffs. Looks like he will not be moving on to the next round. And looks like it's going to be a close shave for N Stapleton, who's not going to finish very well here, but had a good enough run last time out at Chicago that I think he'll be okay to move on to the next round. And Wyatt Walker will head through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. It's his first career win of the season. It takes place here tonight in the dust of Oswego. And I'm pretty much 100% certain that that is the first win of the season for the team of William Brock Motorsports. Pretty certain. Great run there, though, for Walker and that team. He definitely had the truck to beat. He just didn't have the track position, but like I said, the way he was able to set up LaPlante to take the top spot after that, it was basically, he just ran away with the thing. Never really let anybody get to his back bumper after that to try and challenge him for the top position, and eventually the race wins. So the standings are now official. We ran the entirety of the race under green, not without incident, but under green flag conditions. And Walker, the rookie, takes the checkered flag. Cervantes finishes bridesmaid for the 2nd straight race. 2nd place this time to Walker. Last time at Chicagoland was 2nd place to Nick Johnson. Angel Olvera will finish 3rd, 4th for Alexander Rowe, and 5th for Austin LaPlante, who I think led the most laps here today, or at least it was really close between him and Walker. Tony Green was the highest finishing playoff driver. He got 6th. He'll move on to the round of 6 with that finish. Sky Commons in 7th. Patrick Curtis came into this race outside of the moving on to the next round and was able to race his way in. He will finish in 8th. Andrew Miller brings it home in 9th, and Jake Moss, great run for him, in 10th place. Where did the rest of your playoff drivers finish? H Garcia, 16th. That's good enough to move on to the next round. Nick Johnson was already locked into the next round, but he finishes 22nd. Heather Gallant will finish 23rd. She was running high enough in points that that'll be enough to get her into the next round of the playoffs. To look on down through the remainder of the finishing results there, O Pollard, 31st. He came into this race outside of the top 6. Needed a good run. He's not going to get it. He's going to be one of the 2 drivers eliminated from moving on to the next round. N Stapleton, like I said, really, really close between him and moving on to the next round. But the good news for him is he finished really close proximity to Pollard and Barber, and he came into this race ahead of both of them in the point standings. So I think Stapleton may have dropped down maybe to 6th place in points, but still enough to move on to the next round. And Easton Barber didn't have the best of runs last time out Chicagoland and did not have a good run here tonight either. Finished last car on the lead lap in the 39th position, and he will join O Pollard as the first 2 drivers eliminated from the playoffs and not moving on to the round of 6. So that leaves us 6 drivers remaining for the championship. The defending champion Nick Johnson, Heather Gallant, N Stapleton, Tony Green, Ace Garcia, and Patrick Curtis. They now have to get ready for the next 2 races, which will make up the second round of the playoffs. Our first stop in 2 weeks at Madrid, and then 3 weeks later at Homestead, Miami, before we determine the final 4 that will battle for the championship at the season finale at Auto Club. But congratulations to Wyatt Walker on his first career win of the season. If you enjoyed tonight's race, be sure to give us a like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. We have shown you your full finishing results. These are your rookie point standings and your overall point standings heading into next week's race. Well, actually, I should say next race in 2 weeks for these TaxSlayer Truck Series drivers. This week, though, we've got 2 more races, 2 different venues. Tomorrow night, you're going to see the Pizza Hut X Series drivers' first elimination race. 12 drivers go in, 8 drivers leave, still in the hunt for the championship at Kentucky Speedway. And then we're back here at Oswego for the first race of the second round of the playoffs with our remaining 12 drivers in the Hershey's Cup Series. So till then, I've been Seth Cole. You've been watching Production NNSCRA Offline Race at its best. Good night from Oswego.